Hello and welcome to Gutted. I'm Aleece.
And I'm Tony, and we're here to spill our guts about horror film trailers. And today we are covering our pre-guts of January 2025. Typically, we have covered just one, but in the month of October, we had a slew of episodes where we covered multiple, and it was a lot of fun.
Still in that horror renaissance, and there are still a ton of horror movies coming out. So why not do one whole pre-gut that covers all of the horror movies in that same month?
We're going to get right into it.
Should we do like an icebreaker? Tony, how was your New Year's?
Yeah.
We were next to each other, so I guess we know the answer.
2025, do you think it's going to be another big year for horror? Do you think we're going to have a 2023, 2024, or do you think things are going to slow down a little bit?
I feel like it hasn't slowed down yet. There are no signs of it stopping.
Let's keep the ball rolling.
And as long as we still have a lot of children's classics that are in the public domain, then we're going to have some more horror spin-offs.
We have 4 movies to talk about. First up, we have a little movie called Wolfman. We have a werewolf movie, which that's exciting because you don't get too many of those. I feel like it might be one of the more underrepresented monsters in horror.
I don't know. There are quite a few Wolfman movies. This is Wolf Space Man. There's like a space in between wolf and man, not to be confused with the Wolfman from 2010 with Benicio del Toro or any of the other Wolfman combination movies.
I still feel like it's a bit less represented than, say, ghosts or vampires.
Well, yeah, probably.
Wolfman, written by husband and wife duo Leigh Whannell and Corbett Tuck, and directed by Leigh Whannell, who we know as the writer and actor of the Insidious franchise and Saw. This is starring Christopher Abbott from It Comes at Night, Julia Garner, who was recently in Apartment 7A, which we missed.
We didn't see it. We don't have Paramount Plus.
Darn it.
All right, let's preview that trailer.
You're scaring me.
Back off! Please, Daddy's mean. Hurry, Mommy is coming.
Come on.
All right, that was the trailer for Wolfman. Aleece, tell us a little bit of what happened in that trailer.
Okay, so in Wolfman, we have a little family, a little trio, a husband, a wife, and a daughter. They are moving perhaps to the countryside, maybe a farm, and they are in a horrible accident. Their U-Haul is overturned and dangling over the precipice of a cliff. And some other poor schmo in the passenger seat of this U-Haul is, for some reason, fumbling with the door and trying to open it. And the dad's like, "Don't open that door." And the guy does, and he falls to his death.
Wait, he isn't pulled by something?
He opens the door and falls out.
What an idiot.
I know, the U-Haul's dangling. And if the guy had just been more aware of his surroundings, he would have realized that opening the door would have released him to a 20-foot drop. That's not the worst of his worries. He is pulled away by some creature with hairy arms. The creature also happens to slash the dad in the arm as well. They get out of the U-Haul. They end up at a farmhouse. The mom calls 911. She's like, "There's been an accident and I think my husband's been infected." Keyword infected, like this Wolfman thing. It's like a virus. Daddy starts to grow more body hair. Gross fingernails come off, and I think he gets teeth. And then it becomes a fight for survival with the mom and the daughter. The daughter's like, "Daddy, you're scaring me." They have one of those classic scenes where the mom and daughter are trying to quickly get away in a truck that is not starting. It's got really dirty windows and she cleans off the windows boom, there's Wolfman Daddy punching through the glass. So that's basically it. They're in a fight for survival against the dad that got infected by a wolfman. Now he's a wolfman.
This is from Blumhouse.
Yes.
Is it Blumhouse or Bloomhouse?
I'm going to say Blumhouse.
One of those two. I remember last January them coming out with another fight against daddy movie called Night Swim.
Yeah.
Sorry for the mild spoiler there, but...
I mean, daddies are evil in many a movie.
So something about January horror and the fight against daddy.
The fight against evil daddy who has been evilified by outside means.
Yeah. I'm also learning a lot of lessons from this trailer. One being, do not move to the middle of nowhere at night.
Yeah.
And if you are in a crash where you're dangling over the edge of a big cliff, don't open the door.
Don't open the door. I kind of don't feel like this is going to be anything terribly original. It seems like it's going to be a mother-daughter duo. Let's fight against the evils of man, aka daddy, and kill him.
Okay. Interesting.
And he'll die.
So you think that the mother and daughter are going to survive and they're going to escape daddy and they're going to kill daddy? Or do you think they'll turn daddy back to daddy?
There's no way. You can't turn someone back into a man once they've been wolfmanned.
Huh. Okay. Well, also, do they call him daddy in this?
Yeah. She's like, Daddy, you're scaring me.
Okay.
They have the little girl say daddy and mommy several times to make her sound younger than she is.
I felt weird just saying daddy over and over again.
The little girl says it. And if she doesn't, I imagine that she did.
Maybe no predictions to be made here.
I did make a prediction that daddy's going to be full wolfman. There's no saving him. And mommy's going to have to wrestle with the tough decision of killing her husband because now he's a murderous wolfman.
Yeah. Okay. So I should say no extra predictions. You pretty much got the two. Maybe that's a good thing that the trailer is not revealing something else that's going to happen in the movie.
Because yeah, if something else happens that throws me through a loop or for a loop, then I will be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Do you think something else is going to happen besides?
I think a lot of jump scares are going to happen.
Yes.
And I think there's going to be a lot of moments of loud music.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that.
It is a werewolf story, so it does have potential to be at least fun.
And you know what I do like that I found out today is that it is written by a husband and wife duo when I was researching the tidbits. And you mentioned that in the beginning, but I do think it's cute that Lee Wanell wrote this with his wife.
Yeah, that is cool because maybe it's like a sort of metaphor for the struggles of a marriage or a relationship or something like that.
Maybe it's the metaphor for their own relationship and marriage.
Interesting.
So knowing that it is written by a husband and wife, maybe she does find a way to be with him in the end. The only way to have solidarity as a family is if you can't beat them, join them. Maybe they become like a wolf family.
Ooh, I like that prediction. Wolf family trio. If you can't beat them, join them. It's a movie about adapting to your situation, whatever hardship may occur.
You fight it together and become wolf people.
I would love this if it has this sort of wholesome morality or metaphorical relationship, something where I can really draw a conclusion out of it and be like, yep, they did it.
They did it. They are a wolf fam. No one had to die besides the people that they eat. And maybe because they're already in the middle of nowhere, they'll just be eating a lot of animals.
That was the trailer for Wolfman. This is set to have a theatrical US release date of January 17th.
And let's look at that poster really fast.
We have from Blumhouse, the producers of The Black Phone and the director of The Invisible Man, Protect Your Own. They are in the forest with the full moon looming over them, and you have the mom and the daughter, and they're holding hands, looking back.
And I know this is not a crucial plot point, but the mom's hair makes me wonder if this is set in the 80s.
No, this is a crucial plot point, and also that hair is in style right now.
Is it? Because
Yes.
I could not help but be distracted by that haircut. And I'm not trying to be superficial.
Are you trying to say you didn't like it?
I mean, I'm not a fan of that haircut, which is fine. I don't have to be a fan of the haircut, but it did make me wonder. It seemed like a very purposeful haircut. They're trying to be like, look, this is her 80s mom haircut.
And maybe people in the 80s didn't wear seatbelts, which would explain that guy falling out
Yes.
As soon as he opened the door.
And because they are in the middle of nowhere and they get to like a derelict farm and a derelict truck, there's no hint at anything that is modern.
Like a cell phone.
Like a cell phone. She's on like a corded phone calling for help in that cabin.
Maybe this is a period piece.
It's like 80s Wolfman.
In the 80s, that's when we got a lot of resurgence of werewolf stories.
That was Wolfman. Next up, we have Presence. This is written by the writer of Jurassic Park and Panic Room, David Koepp, and directed by Academy Award-winning director of Traffic, Steven Soderbergh.
Wow.
I know.
What a heavy-hitting writer-director.
Filmmaker team.
What a heavy-hitting filmmaker team.
Yeah. And okay, I love the movie Jurassic Park, but I actually never knew the writer's name. I was just like, oh yeah, directed by Steven Spielberg.
I love Ocean's 12, which Steven Soderbergh directed.
I know, but I'm talking about David Koepp.
Oh.
Yeah. I am
not paying attention.
I know. So David Koepp was the writer of Jurassic Park. I'm just saying, I never actually put into my memory that he was the writer of Jurassic Park. And then today when I looked up, oh, what did this writer do besides Presence? I was like, what? JP? Are you kidding me? And yes, he is the writer.
So he's sort of like an unsung hero who came up with lines such as, hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts.
Does that mean that we're going to get a bunch of these fancy one-liners in this movie?
I hope we're going to get some snappy one-liners. Unless Michael Crichton wrote Hold On To Your Butts. I don't know. Possibly that is in the book.
We didn't read it, obviously.
It is also starring Lucy Liu from Kill Bill, Julia Fox from Uncut Gems, and Chris Sullivan, who is in I Trapped the Devil, which I watched recently.
Let's check out that trailer.
And the sides are mud, and you can't get out. You wonder where they are. And you wonder what it would be like if you were there too.
That was the trailer for Presence. Tony, what happened in that trailer?
You're asking me to recount something that I just saw 10 seconds ago? That's tough.
Is it?
Well, we see the story of a family. There maybe are two families. It seems like there's Lucy Liu and she seems like a mom and it seems like she has a son. But then there's a girl. There are people in a house. I don't know what the relationship is. There is a teenage girl and she seems moody and angsty.
Do you think she's the one talking?
I'm not sure. That could be Lucy Liu.
I thought Lucy Liu was talking.
There's a lot of ambiguity. All we do know is that there are people in a house. The house is sometimes shaking and there's a floating camera that moves slowly through the rooms.
And orange juice falls.
Orange juice falls. Yes, the Jurassic Park thing. We get the Jurassic Park Easter egg.
Yeah,
in the trailer.
Cup of liquid.
Oh, David Koepp. The trailer said that it's Steven Soderbergh's best use of form and function.
Tell me, Tony, what does that mean?
That means that the form of the filmmaking is supporting the function of the storytelling. Okay. So they're just saying that, like, yeah, you did a good job.
It's like good camera work. It looks like a ghost is following you in the stairwell.
You're not just doing like shaky cam for no reason. The quote from Dread Central that had me more intrigued was that it flips the haunted house genre on its head.
I hate it when quotes say that because I'm just like, I feel like that's a bold claim.
So my thought there was that there's going to be two families in this house and one is going to be, in the narrative that we're presented, a ghost family or a presence. And then the other one's going to be the family that's living there and dealing with this presence, whether they're terrified or haunted by it or they're just dealing with it. There's going to be a twist at some point where the people who you think are the ones that are living are the ones who are actually dead. That would be like, what if people were pissing ghosts off? Well, that's how you flip it.
Well, when it said it flips the haunted house genre on its head, I immediately thought, how do you do that doesn't make this movie like the others?
Or American Horror Story season 1. It's been a while since I've seen the others, so I don't really get the reference.
The Others is a prime example that flipped the haunted house genre on its head without laying it out there. I mean, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. What you explained kind of seems like the plot of The Others. If that happens in this, then I would just be thinking, well, that's the others. Not to say that I don't want to see this recreated for modern times.
The trailer was creepy and spooky, caught my attention for sure. Some big name directors are entering back into the horror genre. Steven Soderbergh did do a thriller horror movie called Unsane, which I don't think we've seen.
I've never seen it.
But it's been on my watch list for a while. He kind of got his start in the indie world, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and Schizopolis, which he made in the 90s.
So he's getting back to his indie roots.
I'm not exactly sure if we're going to get a movie that's like The Girlfriend Experience or Ocean's 12.
I'm going to say that it's not going to be like Ocean's 12.
Darn, that ruins all my predictions.
Yeah, but it might be like a nice blend of Traffic and Sex, Lies, and Videotape. I think it might be a bit stylish, but also slower paced, as was the trailer. I think I will enjoy this one.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this. It wasn't on my radar at all. And I think we saw it in the theater the last time we were there. And I was just like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, we went to go see Baby Girl starring Nicole Kidman, which, side note, did you know that you do not get the Nicole Kidman trailer if you go see Baby Girl at an AMC?
Or maybe she was canceled after the release of Baby Girl.
No, I bet you it's one of those things where it's like it's a conflict of interest. So you can't have Nicole Kidman's AMC trailer right before her movie that she stars in.
Well, I feel cheated.
Yeah, I did too. I really wanted to see her trailer and then see her movie right after.
Exactly.
Okay, anyway, that is not here nor there. It's over there. It's way over there.
Any other predictions?
I'm hesitant and also not able to make too many predictions for this one, but it looks like it won't have too many in-your-face jump scares cued by loud music. It might have slow creeping scares where you see things in the mirrors. But I do find it interesting, this concept of two families living on different planes or wavelengths in the same physical space.
Yeah. So you agree with me? You think there are two families living in this space?
I kind of do think it might be two families in this space, but I don't necessarily think that they're dead.
Okay.
I think that they just happen to exist on these two different planes in the same physical space. Their wavelengths are kind of crossing. That's probably happened in a movie before, but I've always had this theory ever since I was little that things get misplaced because other people on a different plane than I met also inhabit the same space and maybe have the same items. And when two people on different planes have the same items in the same space, that's when things get moved. And you're like, I didn't move this. Where'd it come from? Where did it go? It's because your other person on your different plane in your same house moved it.
Or if you have roommates,
Your
then
roommate.
they probably just moved
It's your roommate.
Yeah.
That's the easy answer. But if you live alone, then there's no easy answer.
So I guess we'll find out. Is this going to be a sort of multi-dimensional ghost or haunting story? Or is it
Yes.
going to be a roommate tale about economic hardship and two random stranger families having to live in the same space?
And then there's an earthquake and they spill your orange juice.
So it's very literal.
Yeah.
Exactly. That
Everything.
could be scary too.
Earthquakes are scary.
Yeah,
All right.
that's right.
Let's look at the poster.
Okay, sometimes we get a little more information from the poster, which is why we always look at them.
Yeah. So in this poster, we see the back of what I think might be Lucy Liu's head. She's staring at the corner of a room that is painted like a nice salmon or coral color. And there's a very ominous shadow in the corner of this room. Could be a shadow, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's his presence.
Yeah, this is a very nice poster. It has a monochromatic quality to it
And
where
there's a
everything
nice-
is that salmon or burnt salmon, dark browns and whites. So those
And-
are all within the spectrum.
And it's very symmetrical.
There are two windows. Maybe those are the two.
Two worlds.
Exactly.
Windows to the two worlds. Okay.
You know, we didn't do this for Wolfman. We forgot to say what merch we would get.
We didn't want any.
Sorry, Wolfman.
Just kidding.
But how about presents? What merch would you get for this poster?
Okay, so for presents, I would get one of those like dual-sided hand mirrors. And like one side, you see things in reality, and the other side, it like makes it magnified. When you close the mirror, you get half of the poster. But when you open it up, you see the full poster.
Wow, that sounds very high tech.
And just because I feel bad, fine, I want the main mom's flannel from Wolfman.
Just going back to Wolfman.
I feel bad that I didn't say what merch I wanted for Wolfman.
For Wolfman, I will take a toy moving truck.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll hang it on my tree like a Christmas ornament.
Just dangle it on a branch.
Yeah, with the mover guy kind of like hanging from...
That would be cute.
Yeah.
And then another Wolfman hanging from the mover guy.
For presents, I think I'm going to get some wallpaper.
Ooh, wow.
I think that'd be creepy if you just perpetually had a figure with its head turned to a corner. Looks a lot like a Japanese horror ghost.
It does.
If we get a movie that is sort of in that style of the early 2000s Japanese horror ghost story, I'll love this. Yeah. And I'm going to get a wallpaper.
Wow, that's committed. Wallpaper is hard.
It'll be the non-permanent one so I can remove it. Basically like a big sticker.
They always say they're easily removable, but they never are. They always leave residue. So once you have it on there, you're kind of stuck and committed for a while.
True.
That was Presents, which will have a theatrical US release on January 24th of 2025.
Next up, we have a movie called Companion, which is the first feature film from writer and director Drew Hancock, starring Sophie Thatcher, who we know from Heretic and Yellow Jackets, Jack Quaid, who we know from Scream 5, and Harvey Guillen, aka Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows.
Let's check out that trailer for Companion.
It's going to sound cheesy, but the moment we locked eyes, there was just a spark.
All right, we had a short and sweet trailer from the movie Companion. Aleece, can you tell us what's going on in this trailer?
So it opens up with a lovely little ditty.
That is by a band called the Flamingos.
Oh, it's very sweet and romantic. It gives off a nice little 60s flair. I don't know when that song was made, but Jack Quaid is preparing dinner and we see that it's from the creators of The Notebook. Comes a new kind of love story. We're like, aw. And he gives a meal to Sophie Thatcher, who's sitting at the other end of the table. She looks kind of alluring, but then we pan down to her wrist and she's handcuffed to her chair. So not romantic, kind of creepy. And then we also see, I think, from the unhinged creators of Barbarian.
Unhinged. Interesting choice of words.
Yes. And then we get some quick shots of other parties that are happening, a little dance party. Jack Quaid has a gun. He points it to someone's head. It might be Sophie Thatcher. There's some wrestling in the dirt. Somebody's totally muddy and in their undies and stabs another guy with a mullet in the neck. We also get some quick flashes of authority type figures with a suspicious looking van, some high-tech gadgetry. Towards the end of the trailer, we go back to our beginning scene with the dinner table with Jack Quaid at one end and Sophie Thatcher at the other. He puts a candle under her arm and her arm is projected straight out in front of her, not moving, almost like she's catatonic, but she's staring right at her arm as it lights up in flames and she's crying. But she's also not moving her arm away or struggling.
Very interesting trailer, interesting setup. You did have a lot of details that you're able to remember, which makes me question my own ability to recall events that have just happened. I'll work on it. At some point, Sophie Thatcher's character is pointing a gun at someone else. So she's not just being abused or like some sort of victim. At some point she fights back. Right.
We know she's not a victim the entire time. She even has a little glint in her eye. And I questioned, is that a glint or is that a spark, an electrical spark?
Yeah. And that's what they say in the trailer at the end. It's like, from the moment we met each other, there was always a spark. Ooh. So is that a clue?
Going into predictions, I'm wondering if perhaps Sophie Thatcher is a type of real doll that has evolved to almost the point of near human perfection and mimicry.
Some sort of artificial intelligence, maybe like
Right.
Real Doll or Megan.
Real doll meets Megan, but older and less creepy.
Lars and the Real Girl, remember that one?
Kind of like Lars and the Real Girl, but turned into a horror film. These companion dolls are starting to fight back. They don't want to just be there to be your companion. They want to be more than that. So this is Sophie Thatcher as a companion doll fighting back for her independence. And Jack Quaid's like, no, I bought you. I own you. I'm going to handcuff you to this chair and burn your arm to show you who's boss.
He opened up a safe and just had a safe full of cash. So this guy must be rich. Are there multiple companion dolls?
There probably is a whole company that makes these companion dolls. And that's what that van at the end was. It was like the company coming to rewire or fix your companion doll.
How does the fact that it's a love story come into play in this movie for you?
I think that it's not actually going to be a love story. I think that's kind of tongue in cheek on the trailer's part. That line was to trick us into thinking that initially this was going to be a love story. And then we find out that it's not. We find out that Jack Quaid is probably a creep. He wants Sophie Thatcher's character as his property and his companion. It's not a two-way street.
You think there's going to be some element of the movie of the companion fighting back?
Yeah, she wants her independence. And she's like,
Interesting.
just because I was made in a factory doesn't mean that I don't have my own thoughts.
Interesting. But she's not going to go full Chucky style.
I mean, that depends on what you think full Chucky style is. Like to the doll, it's not going full Chucky. It's just fighting back to get your independence.
Yeah.
But to Jack Quaid, it might be going full Chucky.
Huh. My thought was when watching the trailer that Jack Quaid subjects this doll to lots of different types of abuse, the hand burning, wrestling out in dirt. This guy is constantly abusing this doll and then reordering another one or getting
I
it
don't think
fixed.
that was Jack Quaid wrestling with Sophie Thatcher. I think that was somebody else because there was a person that had a mullet. Maybe that will be like the beginning, like the opener, somebody else that had a companion doll. And they're like, you know what? This isn't working out. I'm just going to like dismember it and bury it in the backyard. That person's companion doll fights back. And maybe
Interesting.
that companion doll was Sophie Thatcher.
Are there multiple of these dolls that look exactly the same? Because then you could have uprising that happens in more than one spot. With the Barbarian creators or producers, they know that these sort of big twists have a great effect. The Barbarian movie had one feel at the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then totally you go like down the rabbit hole on that one.
And still, that trailer for Barbarian didn't reveal too much. It revealed some nuggets to let you know, like, okay, this is exciting. It will have a twist and everything's not what it seems. And you really can't predict what's going to happen. So this might be the same thing where we think it's going to be a type of real doll companion situation, but maybe we are completely wrong.
Let's check out the poster.
That poster is the shortest, sweetest, most simplest poster. It's all pink with companion in red cursive writing.
A new kind of love story from the creators of Barbarian.
I can't complain about a short and sweet poster. Cute, like a little Valentine's Day card invitation.
I want a little more from this poster.
You want more?
It's a little too minimalistic. I want like some sort of arm that's on fire. That'd be cool. Or I want the logo of the company.
Well, if it was the logo of the company, then that would be
Give away too.
spoiling it.
I know.
Exactly.
Exactly. I need to know.
I do like your idea, though, of the arm on fire. Just the arm on fire, and you can still have companion in cursive, but maybe the arm on fire is lighting it from beneath the word companion. That would be nice.
What sort of merch would you get of this very minimalistic poster?
Maybe like Valentine's Day cards.
Yeah, I think, did we get Valentine's Day cards of something already?
Probably.
And I remember because you were slightly upset because I didn't say that the Valentine's Day cards would be for you.
I think you said you wanted a Valentine's Day card to send to the director. And I'm like, what the heck? You're going to send him a card of his own poster?
Yeah, that
does he want
was a
that?
terrible idea.
I was upset. I want Valentine's Day cards that may or may not go out to Tony.
That's okay. I'm just going to get a inkjet printed piece of paper.
That's
I'm just
it?
going to print it out because I'm a little disappointed by this poster. It leaves nothing for me.
So you kind of want nothing.
No, I'm going to print it out.
That's a waste of ink and paper.
Exactly.
You don't even want it. What about like a doily?
Yeah, a doily would be cool.
What about a handkerchief?
I'm going to get a handkerchief, but I'm going to print it out myself on fabric paper.
You're going to fabric paper?
This is getting worse and worse.
You're not even going to have it embroidered to say companion?
Nah. I had my mindset on just printing this out myself, so that's what I was going with. That was Companion, set to have a US theatrical release on January 31st of 2025.
And that is the last day of January, but we have one more coming out on that same day, Screamboat, directed and co-written by Stephen Lamort, who did The Mean One from 2022. We haven't seen that one yet. And starring Kaylee Hyman, who was Brooke from Terrifier 2, and also David Howard Thornton as Screamboat Willie.
Wow.
Who is also in Terrifier 2 and 1 and 3.
That makes me want to see this movie. If I did not see that name attached to Screamboat Willie, I would be like, okay, I'm going to put it on my back burner list. Like all of the Blood and Honey and The Mean One and Mousetrap, all these movies that we still need to see. Maybe we should just have like a big binge-a-thon of all of these movies that are
children movies turned horror.
The ones that are recently in public domain, so they can now make these movies. What a time to be a horror fan.
I know. And actually, I have a different way of thinking about those movies. I'm actually excited about those. And I have been wanting to see Blood and Honey and Mickey Mouse Trap. I just haven't been able to find them.
Haven't been able to find. I think they're probably all.
I haven't been able to find the time to find them.
Okay. So now that I was hoping you would say that, because now I'm going to put you on the spot and say, you're excited to see these movies, yet you haven't found the time.
I haven't found the time to find them.
I haven't found the time to find them.
But now I will find the time to find them. Now that we're in January, January is a slower month and there aren't as many holidays and things coming up. So I have more time to find these movies, and I will.
You heard it. She made the promise.
You heard it here. I didn't promise anything. Play the trailer.
We're not alone. I heard stories about a monster that lurked in the underbelly of the ferry. After 90 years, he's actually out in the public. Steamboat Willie.
It's the happiest place on earth.
All right. Screamboat, Willie, Tony, what is happening in that trailer?
Okay, so we are on some sort of boat vessel, and we see that iconic, what would you call that? The boat wheel?
The helm?
The helm, and we have the whistling.
Mm-hmm. The iconic whistling from Steamboat Willie.
There are some characters who seem to be in safety worker gear.
Yeah.
So we're on a boat, and there is Steamboat Willie, who has been released after not being seen for 90 years.
In the public.
So that's kind of a funny little nod to it being in the public domain.
Yeah.
We hear a little bit of screaming, and we see an ominous shadow of a thing that looks like a mouse.
Well, not just any mouse, but the iconic rounded ears of Mickey / Steamboat Willie Mouse.
I searched for an official trailer for this, but I think there's only a teaser trailer out. So we are going off of a 46-second teaser trailer. What more is there to know? It's a slasher movie where the slasher is Steamboat Willie,
Played by David Howard Thornton.
What exactly do you know about Steamboat Willie? Because I just know like the little 10-second clip of the Steamboat Willie whistling.
Honestly, I feel like that's all 90% of people know. He is a cute little mouse in black and white cartoon footage, and he's happy, and he drives a steamboat, and he whistles. And that's all you need to know. And honestly, the fact that we heard whistling in the trailer, I think that's one of the most creepy sounds to hear in a horror film. film is when the villain is whistling. I
So
don't know
you
why.
think that this is going to be scary?
Yes. I think it's going to be eerie, at least because I find whistling in horror movies very scary. Even if it's not a horror movie, it's like Kill Bill Volume 2 where Daryl Hannah whistled everywhere. That was creepy.
That wasn't that the do 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 do
Yeah.
do do.
And I feel like that whistling was creepy.
David Howard Thornton, who we know as Art the Clown, is playing Steamboat Willie. That is pretty much the main draw of this movie.
And we know that he does a great job. You know what would be interesting if he actually had lines? Do you think he'll have lines as Steamboat Willie? Or
No, I think it's just going to be whistling.
he's just going to whistle?
Yeah. So my prediction for this movie is that you're going to have a crew of people who are aboard a vessel, and it looks like a more industrial vessel. It doesn't look like a steamboat.
At one point, though, somebody does say the happiest place on earth, which we all know is Disneyland or Disney World.
Okay.
So is it a boat going to Disney World?
I did not think that in the slightest. I just think that it's going to take place on a random commercial vessel because they're dressed in this sort of like safety commercial gear, and there's the crew, and then they're picked off one by one by Steamboat Willie.
It does seem like there was a young woman on the vessel who did not look like she was in work gear.
She is a stowaway.
She's stowed away.
This doesn't look like a cruise ship is what I'm saying. It doesn't look like a steamboat. It looks like a big industrial boat.
So you don't think it's a steamboat?
It could be an old, large steamboat.
I think it's a steamboat. However, it's not called steamboat. It's called Screamboat. So it could be any boat, honestly.
Yeah.
I will predict that there will be some whistling that is creepy, and people are going to die. But also, I'm looking forward to seeing Kaylee Hyman, who played Brooke, aka Sienna's friend in Terrifier 2. Brooke was actually one of my favorite characters besides Art the Clown in Terrifier 2. So I am looking forward to seeing that actress again. I don't think it's going to be terribly original as far as plot. People are going to die in gross ways.
It's going to be a fun addition to the creepy kid horror movie stories.
Yes. And probably the first one that I will watch. Actually, maybe in preparation, I will watch Mousetrap and the Winnie the Pooh ones.
I'm sure they have no connection whatsoever.
I'm sure they don't, but I want to feel the aura.
Let's check out the poster for Screamboat. We have a black and white Steamboat Willie.
The back of him.
And they are porting into a big city.
Is that New York?
Maybe it's New York. I don't know. They're on a rusty looking boat. Screamboat or Steamboat Willie, whatever you want to call him, is holding a bloody knife. And yep, that's pretty much it.
It's kind of like Jason Takes Manhattan, but Mickey. It's like Mickey Takes Manhattan.
What merch are you going to get?
I do want a cute little Screamboat Willie holding a bloody knife figure.
I'd actually get a t-shirt of this and then I could wear it to Disneyland.
Oh, you know what? Maybe one of those antenna ball toppers. Do you think Disney's going to have stuff to say about this? They're going to be like, no, you can't.
They would have already,
You can't wear Screamboat Willie shirts to Disneyland.
Well, okay, yeah, maybe because they are strict about wearing family-friendly attire, but maybe this one will sneak by.
I don't know. I kind of feel like there's going to be some like Disney versus Screamboat Willie controversy. And they're like, you cannot wear your Screamboat Willie shirts to Disneyland.
If anybody has been to Disney wearing a Blood and Honey t-shirt and has gotten kicked out, let us know.
That was Screamboat Willie, set to have a limited U.S. theatrical release on January 31st of 2025.
All right. So those are the 4 horror movies that we have coming out in January of 2025.
To recap, we have Wolfman, Presence, Companion, and Screamboat.
These are our first 4 horror movies of 2025.
You know, usually January has horror movies that come out that I'm not terribly excited for, but I'm actually excited for a couple of these. Which one are you most excited for this month?
It's very tempting to choose Screamboat.
Don't lie.
But I would say Companion and Presence. So I think it's a tie for me. It is intriguing to have a director like Steven Soderbergh, who's done a pretty wide range of things and has won Academy Awards to do a horror movie. So that's one that's definitely high up on my ranking. And the trailer for Companion looks super awesome. So I'm very excited for that as well.
You know, I'm kind of in your same boat.
Yeah.
However, I would add Screamboat to that.
So you have a 3-way tie.
I have a 3-way tie.
You just want to see it all.
I mean, I will probably see all of these. The thing that interests me about Wolfman is that it is written by a husband-wife duo. However, just off the trailers, I am more excited for Presence, Companion, and Screamboat.
That'll keep us busy in the month of January. Hopefully, February is going to be just as fun as January.
I think it will be.
We have a movie, Heart Eyes, coming out, which I've seen posters for.
And I think The Monkey comes out in February.
Look out for our trailer reviews for February.
Let us know what you are most interested in seeing in January. If you had to only pick one, I know we did a 3-way tie, it's kind of cheating, but what would be your one that you see in January?
So if you've liked what you've heard today, please subscribe, like, and or give us a rating. Send us a message.
Or an emoji of what you might see in January. Cool. Thank you for watching and or listening. This has been another episode of
Got it.